Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night.
Every night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
No, I haven't. Not at all. Not even kind of. On my mind.
So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll
See you at another time. This highway
does not know my name, and I don't care.
No. No.
Don't care.
Not even a little bit.
Heading my way
For another place.
and I got 3 good tires
Right to the
and a
hook,
spare.
right. Just
a
a
white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
low budget live, the not so live variety from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill here in beautiful southern Middle Tennessee. This is the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill. It's kind of the corner of it. I used to do it at the actual bar, but I don't anymore because I got this Goodwill desk to do it at down here in the corner. Down in the corner. And I hope all you low-lifers are doing well out there. I'm feeling good, man. This is the podcast for Monday, October the 9th. And that's one day before my baby boy, my firstborn, turned 16 years old. So on Tuesday, October the 10th, if you feel like the head low-lifer here is sad and it's a bittersweet day, then you will be correct because I'm not handling it well. I'm very proud of my kids and especially just like the young men they're becoming and just too cool, man. They're my, no offense to anybody else in the world, but they're like my 2 favorite people to hang out with. They really are. And it's just so much more fun than I could have ever imagined, especially at the ages they're at right now. But on Tuesday, Hudson Lee will drive out of the driveway by itself, and I really don't know how to process that. I'll be honest. I turned 40 this year. I got that going on. Rider Man turns 13. Yeah, this coming January, and there's just a lot of changing going on, man. A lot of changing. But so happy birthday to HLD. I had to be down in Tampa for work. And for most of the weekend, it was their fall break. I ended up switching a flight around and got back a little early and was able to get them out on the water for just a couple hours Thursday afternoon. And then we fished all day Friday down at Smith Lake in Alabama. It's my favorite thing about them when it comes to fishing is I really, and y'all know this, I don't fish as many tournaments obviously anymore as I used to. And I really, I just enjoy going to new lakes with them. I enjoy just fishing with them and figuring things out and what they like to do and kind of taking my brain out as far as, hey, this is what I want to do on the water. And I'm the same way when it comes to music or whatever. Like, you guys kind of tell me what y'all are into. And it's funny, there's always a lot of common ground there. But I'll let them pick. I'm like, where do you want to go? And they love Smith Lake. And Smith is not easy in the fall by any stretch of the imagination. And they're used to it in the spring because they go get a lot of bites because Smith is that kind of place, especially when them spots are spawning and stuff. And they've been many times since they were little bitty. And it's a couple hours from the house and they love it. That's their pick. Like, that's where we went on spring break this year for a couple days. We got to go. It's where they want to go. So we went and Ryder has this new thing where he is obsessed with swim baits. He's obsessed with them. And I'm not talking about just necessarily like giant glides, but like he loves bull shads. He likes, and Hudson does too, but they like that. They love that. And we stopped at a tackle store on the way down and that I told, pick out a couple things, whatever. And it's fall break. And I was getting, Dad was buying a couple glide baits. And Ryder was like, hey, I want one of these. And it was that Spro sashimi swimmer, the Brian New. Shout out to Brian New, little buddy Brian. I believe he designed it, but it's a very cool. It's like Sabile-ish swimmer, and it's legit. We caught several on it. But Ryder is just like all about it. He's throwing a bull shot. He's just obsessed with it. He's also obsessed with live scope, and it's just funny to hear his perspective on live scope. And like, he doesn't think, he's like, I mean, there aren't any here. Why are we here? You pull up and don't see them. He's like running the trolling motor. Like, he's like, look, Dad, there's 3. Boop, throws his swimmer out there. Kaboosh. He's got it pretty dialed, and it's really cool to see for a 12-year-old. And then Hudson, on the other hand, is like, we caught so many more fish before we had live scope. This sucks. But at the same time, he's like, oh, look, there's one. And he's throwing at them. It's so funny, the two different things. Ryder's like, with this weapon in my hand, staring at this weapon, I am invincible. And Hudson's like, can we please go skip a jig under a dock, please? He's like his dad when it comes to that for the most part. But I got two fishermen, man. They're good fishermen. They can hang all day. They love it. But Ryder is going to be expensive. You give Hudson some LOB jigs and send him on his way, or a square bill or whatever, whopper plopper. He likes to throw a topwater. He's good to go. He likes to throw a mag draft around. But Ryder is like just sending me freaking Instagram stuff of big glides and all custom Japanese. He's like JDM. He's starting to look at this stuff, and I'm like, hey man, we're gonna have to stop this trend because it's gonna get expensive for Daddy on the old baits. But super good couple days with the boys there, no doubt about it, man, no doubt about it. But just funny seeing the difference. But Hudson did look at me and go, I think we caught way more fish before we had live scope. Now, granted, when we had, he was 11 when we didn't have live scope, and he's caught a lot of bass because of live scope. So don't get me wrong, but it was just so funny. It was like, because Ryder's like, it's amazing. He'll do anything to argue with his brother. Ryder's like, live scope changed our lives. And Hudson's like, I want to take it off the boat. Tell Garmin I said it, Dad. It's so funny. But a great, short day and a half in the boat there. The Express, probably our last trip, man, in the Express, to be honest, in this Express before we send that one to a new home. That's for sure. Real quick, I got to tell this one. On one of my buddies. So in Tampa for work, I always got to get y'all caught up on the bizarre things in my life and what happens. In Tampa for work, and we were staying down in Ybor City. And if you've never been to Ybor City, it's a trip. It's a good time, but it's a trip down there. And we were staying there. We couldn't get close to the convention center, so we were staying down there. And I'd taken some fine folks out to dinner one night, and I get a call from a buddy that will remain nameless for his own safety in life. And he says, 2 blocks away from where you're at right now, there is an inflatable wrestling ring and mud wrestling. And I think he said midgets at the same time as well. And I was like, well, hell, there's no distance too far to walk for that. And so we went, and all I can tell you is if you ever get a call from your buddy that says, hey, I'm in Ybor City, hey, there's an inflatable wrestling ring, hey, there's mud wrestling, just hang up. Don't go. Because, Lord have mercy, it was not a good scene. What I'm trying to tell you people is, you low-lifers, is there are levels of just insanity in life that you run into sometimes. And I think somewhere near the top for me is not mud. It was actually chocolate and a lot of baby oil. And it was weird at this bar, like country music bar. It's totally weird. Some ladies, and they weren't good wrestlers. I'll just be honest. Like I'm a WWF fan from way back in the day. Shout out Stone Cold. And they were terrible. They had terrible form, just a disgrace to the name of pro wrestling. But there were members of the audience that could sign waivers and get in there and mix it up with them. And they were doing that. And those gentlemen, when they got home with chocolate and whatnot all over there, just looked like, they're going out clothes right? Like, I don't know how you explain that when you get home. And a friend of mine, again, another friend of mine that will remain nameless, we were apparently in the splash zone. And one time when there was a really crazy move off the top rope, chocolate splashed all over the crowd, luckily missing me, and got all over my head because we went to a trade show all day, then we go to dinner, and then we're at this. I mean, this is hours later. You've been working all day, you've been doing your thing. All over his nice dress pants, man. Chocolate from one end to the other. I had to burn them before he went anywhere else. So somewhere at the top of my list of craziest places / shouldn't be there / can't look away because it's like a train wreck is watching wrestling in chocolate in an inflatable, look like a kid bouncy house set up in the middle of a bar. And the man that is refereeing, and I use man, he was a little man, little fella, a luchador wearing kind of guy in a mask and a Speedo. And he was the referee. And we called him Tripod. And I'll leave it at that. It was a wild, wild experience in Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Ybor City, if you're ever there and somebody calls you, just hang up. Now that you know what in the hell I've been doing in life, let's thank some sponsors. Then we're going to get into this thing. StarTron kicking ethanol in the teeth in your weed eater and your chainsaw, most importantly, in your bass boat, in that outboard engine this time of year. You're leaving the boat in the garage longer than you should, but it's hunting season. I get it. Some parts of the world, the water gets a little hard this time of year. Put some StarTron in your tank, protect that outboard engine so the next time you go to crank it, that ethanol does not set up in there, gum up the works, and ruin your next day on the water. StarTron, kicking ethanol in the teeth. It's available so many places. So many places. Check out all of their products. And on the Star Bright side of things, they got the cleaning products to keep you looking good. StarTron. Pro Guide Batteries, ProGuideBatteries.com. ProGuideBatteries.com. LBL10 is where you let them know you're a low-lifer. And you can save money on, in my opinion, the best lithium batteries in the game right now, the most affordable. I'm consistently blown away. I know I say that. I know it sounds like a broken record, but I'm telling you, these batteries have never failed me since I've been using them, whether that be the AGMs or now the lithiums. I stand on my trolling motor. If you fish with me, Fat Cat was joking about it. He's like, oh, yeah, it's great going with you. You just go 100 miles an hour. But I do, especially this time of year, I cover a lot of water, and those trolling motor batteries are legit. The new cranking batteries are also legit. Cannot wait to I'm really going to run a full lithium system next year, I believe, in the Express X21 Pro, the new one coming up. So ProGuideBatteries.com, check them out. Baitworks.com, bait-wrx.com is where you can find basically anything you need in the fishing tackle world. I mean, anything. They got, if you're Ryder Duncan, they got swim baits. Ask me how I know. If you're like me, in Hudson, they got the LOB jigs. The only jig with the LBL logo on the package. And it is time. I caught some fish on an LOB this past week. 7 custom finer than frog hair skirts. Custom trocar hook. A power finesse jig. It is time for the LOB. But don't just take my word for it. Order some. Try them out. Let me know how that goes. You can use code Duncan-10 to let Baitworks know you're a low lifer. And do not order it if you do not want them to show up at the door. Baitworks.com. Last but not least, you can hang the imaginary banner. You can take the banner away from Low Budget Live, but we'll find ways. We got the new transparent logo that pops up, huh? Yeah, look at me. Look at me with all this craziness. Express Boats, the all-welded aluminum bass boat, 96-inch beam, 21 feet of fury, fastest hole shot in the game. Again, I'm consistently blown away. Hudson got to laughing at me on Friday because I said out loud, I love my boat. I do, man. I sincerely do. It's not hard to promote products you believe in. I know y'all know this by now, that I truly enjoy every minute I get to fish out of an Express. I don't have any complaints. C-Deck is awesome. The tackle storage is amazing. 250 Yamaha show. They're exclusive with Yamaha. And I've never had a minute's issue with a Yamaha show. Top end speed is great. The fuel economy is great. Check them out at expressboats.com. If you get a chance, go to a dealer. Take a peek at one. Take a ride in one. Express Boats, building excitement since 1966. All right. don't go to mud wrestling in Ybor City. If you take anything from this episode, I'm going to ask our guest today if he's ever been mud wrestling, and I have a feeling he would definitely poke his head in some mud wrestling. Shout out to Easton Fothergill. He won the college bracket deal going to the Bassmaster Classic, and from everything I hear about this kid, well-respected young man that's doing things the right way in college fishing, has an incredible story. I want to try to get him on here in the next couple of weeks, so I look forward to that. Trying to have a little sit-down conversation with Easton. He's from Montevallo University, but he was able to punch his ticket to the Bassmaster Classic. I think that's a really cool event, how they do that. Props to Bass. It's a little different angle to get in the Classic. It's it's full of drama. It's full of heartbreak. We've seen some fantastic champions come out of that, whether that be John Garrett, Matt Lee, Jordan Lee, so many, Andrew Upshaw. So many anglers have been to the Classic through that now, and it's always a really neat event. I got to watch a little bit of it. So shout out to Easton. Sounds like a young man that's overcome a lot in his life. Speaking of overcoming the odds, I did a piece on this guy last week. We weren't able to get our wires connected, so to speak, for an interview. And he's on the West Coast, and he won the NPFL, and he hit the road via plane. That makes sense to nobody but me. But anyways, Luis Fernandez is a guy that I met day one with the NPFL at Eufaula. But first boots on the ground event we had, and I was immediately just drawn to his personality. He's just larger than life, and he is the Bass Warrior. He's our most recent champion. He's a well-deserving champion, and we're going to talk to him right now. Cannot wait to introduce you low-lifers. If you don't know him, you're fixing to the Bass Warrior, as Fat Cat says, Luis Fernandez. All right, as promised, I talked it up last week. There's one dude in the whole sport of professional bass fishing that can hold the name Bass Warrior, and he is right here, and he is indeed that. What's up, Luis Fernandez, the Bass Warrior in the house on LBL?
What's up, my dude?
Man, I am I said this last week, and I said it in the intro again this week. I'm so proud for you and of you, but I'm proud to know you. And I hope you know how sincere I am in that. And Fat Cat, dude, we were literally in the studio crying, bro. Like, we know what that meant to you, and hell, what it meant for us, dude. Like, it's 3 years of you're one of our dudes, one of the OGs in the NPFL, and to watch you in dramatic fashion, because I mean, it's the Bass Warrior. It's going to be dramatic, right?
Always dramatic, always dramatic,
right? And dude, you hoisted that trophy, and we were just like, I don't know, man. It was such a great moment, and I just want to say congrats again. And has it set in that you are a not only NPFL champion, but you added $100K to the bank account? I mean, has that hit you yet?
I don't think it has, man. I think it was just like you were saying, just so in dramatic fashion and Bass Warrior fashion. It's just like, I never was one to, like, what you see is what you get, and the way I'm feeling, I'm not hiding nothing, and it really hasn't set in yet. But it's like that win after it was all done, it was just a good feeling to do it for my friends and family and everybody that's watched me grind my whole life, and knowing that to win a tour level event was my dream. That's it. It wasn't to win the Bassmaster Classic. It wasn't no crazy dream. I just wanted to win a tour level event in front of my friends and family and everybody. And it just happened. It was just magical, so magical. And the way it happened, the way it went down, the time, I mean, oh man.
Kidding me, dude? Yeah. And like, you save your best for last. You catch the best stringer of the event on the final day, that you've caught all week. You do it with boats running all around your spot. People are screaming for the Bass Warrior out there. Dude, it was amazing. We shared that clip on NPFL yesterday. I saw it again and relived it, but they were screaming. You were screaming. It was just so awesome, dude. Such a moment.
I know. And to call, and the way it went down,
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm known as frog and flipping grass. I would have never thought my first win would be a live scope deal. Never with a spinning rod in my hand.
buddy, I would be lying to you if I said that I thought that was a tournament that you would win once it came down to live scope stuff. Because I figured once you said in practice, and I said this to you, you were like, first day was bad, and then because I love your social media, I keep up with everything that you post, and you were like, figured something out on day 2, and I was like, dude, he's throwing a buzz bait up the river. I mean, like, I just figured, like, all right, this is a Lewis type tournament. It's going to be a grinder. And I told Fat Cat, I was like, dude, I got a feeling about the Bass Warrior this week just based off of his post, and you were up there. You were right outside the top 10 on the first day. Then you make a jump, and we didn't really know what you were doing until we talked to you, and you're like, yeah, live scope and drop shot. I'm like, what did you just say?
Right.
Yeah, I never saw that coming, dude, because you're frogging, flipping, big weight, chatterbait. We've seen you with a drop shot. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
We've seen you with a spinning rod. You're not afraid. You're super versatile. If I had to label you as anything, but dude, you love, like, we watch your passion just come out when you get to pick up some braid, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. In practice, I had the 12-inch glides on the deck. I had the 10-inch Ospreys. I had the Huddleston out. I mean, I had, dude, all the big baits. And after day 1, it's like, Bass Warrior, what are you doing? Put that stuff away. Put it away. It's not going to hurt just to put it away, you know? So I definitely had 30 rods on my deck in practice. But once I dialed in that live scope thing, and I didn't know, like, I found this spot in pre-practice. Here's how it went down. I found this spot in pre-practice. And I idled in pre-practice. I idled literally, Luke, 1 rod on the deck just to have fun every couple hours. But I idled around for 4 to 5 days, straight idling. I mean, if you look at some of my posts of 2 months ago,
yeah,
I was like doing stories like, help me.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then during the first day of the tournament, I didn't know it was like the winning spot. I really didn't, because I haven't had a chance to beat on them. So the first day I caught my limit by like 10 o'clock, and I dumped like a 4.5 pounder, and I left them. Didn't even go back to them, just left them, because all I wanted was 5 bites to keep in the top 10 for AOI. Second day I caught my 5 by 10 o'clock, and I lost like a 6 or 7, a giant. It was big. I don't know how big, but it was that big one I caught on the last day. It trumped that one pretty good. And so that night, I'm like, dude, you are on the winning spot. I mean, there's big ones out there. And so the third day, I was like, I get to just bang on them all day. And that's, that's when the 15 pounds, nothing came off. I think I lost a little 2-pounder, but it didn't hurt me. But, I mean, that's when the magic happened. I got to stay out there all day, and it was cool, man. It was so cool.
It was, man. We have a lot of events with NPFL, and I know you get to go back and you watch a lot of our coverage, and it's so hard because we only do it for a few hours, right? And it's hard to tell the story sometimes. It's just because you really never know what can happen because you guys weigh in so late. If you're in the top 10, you've got 4 more hours. So we try to tell it the best we can, and we had a feeling special things were happening for you and Will because Trent was having a really bad day, right? Like, we knew that. We knew Trent was having a very hard time. We could see that, but still, right, he had 4 hours left, and you got to think, all right, he's going to put it together at least somewhat at some point. He could. Those brush pile fish start firing that he was fishing for. But, dude, we are ending. I don't know if you've got to go back and watch or not, but we are ending live. This is no joke. We do the kind of the same format. We come back to the studio with like 6 minutes to go. We close down the day. Then we throw it to highlights. Well, dude, as we are in studio, they get in my ear from the control room and say, Will Harkins has got a big one on.
Oh, God.
You want us to go to it? And I said, absolutely. So we end live. Harkins has got his biggest of the day, and you had just taken the lead unofficially right before that. And so we're like, Fat Cat and I are just looking at each other like, oh, my God, dude. And so we end live. We set up the weigh-in. And so a lot of times we text. We got a group text, guys on the water. The twins are out there. Even when we go off live, we got an idea, hey, what's going to happen? The last 2 events, Saginaw Bay, we had zero clue what was happening. Trent was about to break down. It was super tight. We still thought Patrick might have him, but we didn't know. And at this one, dude, we could have flipped a coin. We had no idea what was going to happen. And you roll in and Brad Fuller, this was so weird. So weird. He actually texts us and goes, boys, like we might have a tie. This is
my God.
He actually texts us that. And I'm like, whatever, dude. You're trying to build drama, whatever. He's like, I'm serious, man. We might have a tie. This is going to be really, really close. And I'm like, whatever. And when y'all weighed in and tied, Fat Cat and I are looking at each other like, what in the hell just happened right here?
And I didn't know the tiebreaker. I did not know that. I didn't know it. I was like, I was just saying. Yeah, I was tripping because I was like, because I had all year, I haven't had no dead fish. And I think last year I had one dead fish. Total good fish care on my side. But this tournament, I had one dead fish per day, and it cost me 12 ounces. So
did you really?
I did.
I did not know that.
So I was like, it's a tie. Like my dead fish, like, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, and then once Will Harkins came up to me and we're sitting there side by side, I still didn't know. I was like, dude, I hope it don't come down to, fish care or something like that. But when he told me, he goes, dude, you got it. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I think the tiebreaker is big bag of the event. And he goes, I haven't had a bag over 14 pounds yet. So that calmed the nerves a little bit, but I still wasn't sure.
Bro, I had no idea you had fish care penalty. Like I had no idea. That's crazy, dude.
I know what?
We're on pins and needles.
I know, dude. To lose 1/6 on day 2, to lose a 1/4 on day 1, and then 12 ounces of dead fish penalties. I'm like, dude, I will not. I mean, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah.
Just the knot in my stomach I would still have for like the next couple of years of losing by a couple ounces because of that. I would just be like, oh man.
Let's talk about that, dude. So you've been close with the NPFL. You've been consistent. You would have made our championship. Of course, we canceled the championship in year 1. You were right there. You were in the mix. We covered you in year 1. I feel like as much as we did anyone. And like I said on here, we covered you day 1, bro. Like
day 1.
Guys, day 1, we met you there at the weigh-in stage, and I was like, who the hell is this amazing character in my life? Like, I was so fired up, and dude, we covered you the first day, and Brad Fuller's like, this guy right here, and dude, you're on live, Bass Warrior, you're flipping, you're chatterbaiting, you're catching them up, and I'm like, dude, this guy, and I told him that night, I was like, this is one of our dudes, like, because we were all feeling it out, right? It's new. Yep. There's a lot of unknowns. You had never been back east.
No,
there's so many unknowns with the league, with everything. And here we are 3 years later. You're a freaking champ. We've covered you so much. And dude, this year, take the win away. You're having such a freaking incredible year. Consistency wise, dude, you've called them from the cold at Pickwick to Saginaw, like everywhere in between. But
and doing it my way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And I think that's what's this season is so special, because I told myself at the beginning of the season, do it my way. Get away from the dock talk, because it's hard coming from California back east, and you want to learn the lake so fast, and you want to jump on the juice, everybody's juice, but sometimes sometimes that'll lead you down a rabbit hole that you're just not going to climb out of. This year I said, dude, let's do it your way, 100%. Even at Pickwick, I wasn't on nothing special. I told myself, dude, how do you catch them, Bass? How do you do it? I crank. Let's just go start cranking, and we caught them,
dude. That event, and we said it to you. You breaking down what you were doing and why you were doing it, and why you were cranking, and how you were approaching your casting angles and all that. Like, it's just so good on live. It's what live is about to me. But you're such a great teacher, because it's a high pressure situation, but you're still breaking down what you're doing for the folks at home watching. And dude, I love that. And then and you said this, you're always you. And I love the fact that, and I love this about your social media, and I've said this to Fat Cat many times. If you're pissed, you freaking say it. If you're super pumped, you say it. If you're like, this lake sucks, this is a bad event, you say it. I love that, man. You never have to worry about what the Bass Warrior is thinking because you lay it out there, man, and you're real. And I think it's a testament to who you are, dude.
Awesome. Yeah. There's no holding back with me. Even the win, like it all came out, man. It was crying. I thank the people that, I wanted to thank on my first win, tears and all. And even with my sponsors, man, even when I don't mention, because all the excitement, the emotions, even my sponsors know how I get, not even forgetting sponsors. They know, and they know it's me, and they know the heart I have, and they back me. And it's just, what you see is what you get. There's no hiding. There's no sugar and nothing for the sponsors. There's no sugar and nothing for the fans. It's me and my emotions. And like you said, what you get is what you get, and it all comes out. And it's cool.
Dude, I've seen on social media, I've seen so many people that are like in your corner that have commented on the NPFL post. So cool to see. I tell you what got me, because I met your son Troy before. You brought Troy Boy around in the NPFL. I got to meet Troy. And when you said, "This is for you," on stage, I lost it, dude. Like right there, being a dad of fishing kids that love to fish, and they love their dad, right? Like Troy loves you, and he keeps up, man. He's your number one fan, dude. Like there's no doubt. And that moment, dude, it wrecked me, because, and man, just in like joy, but it's just because you West Coast anglers, man, you guys do all. Let me back up. All pro anglers do put it on the line. Fat Cat sat right here in the studio and said that when he was here and we did the in-person episode. It's a roller coaster of a life if you choose it. But that being said, West Coast anglers that choose to play the game out east, like you're choosing to, it's not easy, man.
Not easy at all. Not at all.
It's not cheap. It's not easy. It's hard on your family. It's hard on you, because I see the work you put in, dude. I see the pre-fish. You're talking about riding 4 or 5 days. I've seen that since 2021 with you. You don't just all the time just run back home, bro. You put in the work. You left your boat at my house. I've seen it myself personally. You're like, "Hey, bro, can I leave it here? I got to fly to Nashville." Yeah, come park it at the Traveling Circus headquarters, buddy. Drop it off.
Yeah.
I've seen the work you put in, man. And talk a little bit about what that's like, though, for the people that might not pay attention or take that for granted, on what it's like trying to chase that dream of professional bass fishing that just takes place, it seems like, out east.
Right. So to start it off, I mean, you have to make a choice. If you go back east, you have to do it, and you have to do it 100%. You have to have the family to back you up. You can't just say, "I'm going to go fish back east," and not have your support. It just won't work. You have to have that support, number one. If you don't have the support, you're chasing smoke.
Yeah, man.
Number two, the mindset, the dedication. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I'm not one of them, rich kids. Everything I got is, hard work, dedication, family support, so when I made the choice to fish back east, it's like, dude, it's all or nothing. Like, if you're going to do it, make it your life, make it, just eat, sleep, fish, tournament. Let's make it happen. So once I had the support on all that, the hard work's the easy part. I mean, it really is. If you dedicate yourself and you want it that bad, you're going to make it happen, and after the first year, just feeling it out, and you know what the cool thing is, Luke, out of the whole thing, the cool thing is, the support from the fishermen. Like you said, like when season 1, I was like, I don't know where I'm going to leave my truck and boat. I'm going to wing it. And I mean, that's how bad I wanted it. I didn't have a plan of where I'm going to leave my truck and boat after Alabama. You follow the first tournament. I didn't have a plan, but that first day I met people, and since this day, I've always had a spot from somebody to keep my truck and boat around this country. That's the cool thing. That's
awesome, man.
That's the coolest thing out of this whole story is the support from the fishermen and how bad they want you to succeed. That's why when I won, it's like the weight off my shoulders of just giving, showing my friends and family and supporters like this. I mean, this one's for you guys. Like,
No doubt.
just the weight of that off my shoulders. Like going to Lanier now, I feel like I could breathe a little bit. Like it's a whole different feeling now. I feel like, you know, the first title's cool. I mean, it's magical. I'll never forget it. But now, just the mindset I have now it's like, dude, you could do it. You could make a living. You could really do it. And it's just, it's like the monkey's off my back. Now let's go rack up some titles. Let's go. I mean, I've been through, you know, making the jump back east. I've been through, you know, the financial side of it. I've been through the whole of how everything works. And now it's like, okay, let's go rack up some titles. Let's make some money. Let's make some history right here. So the question of just how, you know, my feelings and making the jump, it's just, it just gets easier now, you know, and now, and then like a lot of people don't know is, I bought a place on Sam Rayburn in Texas.
What?
So,
okay. I didn't know that. So
I bought that a year and a half ago. Bought that a year and a half ago. So I'm investing in my future of being back east, you know. So I'm waiting for Troy to get out of high school and you know, make the jump and everything. But and I don't even know if you know, I don't have no plans, nothing set in stone of what I'm gonna do. I just know I have property on Rayburn, and I'm investing in my future, you know. So it's just getting easier now. But without the support from like you know, when I hit you up that day, hey man, you know, can I leave my stuff at your house? You're like, open arms, no question, no hesitation at all, bro. I got you. Drop it off. Your stuff's safe. You know, call me a day in advance when you come pick it up.
You might have been missing some swim baits. I don't know. I took some inventory. Boys boat. I'm not ashamed. I'm in there looking at glide bait.
Oh, I got a collection of them. I think I've shown you.
You've given me some swimmers before that are still in the boat.
Yeah,
in the boat. Man, that's I'm always amazed, man, because obviously this is so many people their dream, right? Pro fishing. It was my dream for a very long time, and I'm lucky to get to make a living in the industry. Am I doing it with a rod and reel as much these days? No, I'm not. But you said before we started recording, you wear a lot of hats, my dude. And I do, man. I do to make it happen. But it's one of the reasons that I started this show is I love the stories. And I love the stories. And it doesn't matter what you do in life outside of the fishing world, whether you're a plumber and you've got a story. I want to hear that, right? Like I've just always loved, you're a bartender, if you're a musician, if you're, you know, but certainly fishing and people in the outdoors and musicians are kind of what I tend to gravitate towards. But you just, man, from day one, like I said, your story always intrigued me. And I had a guy hit me up at ICAST that year, that first year, and he said, you better watch the Bass Warrior. He said, that guy's an absolute hammer. I ran into an ICAST, and he said, I know you know this by now. You've seen him at a few events, but he's like, that dude is so legit. It will blow your mind. And dude, that's how it's been. You stuck with the league through thick and thin. You are one of our superstars. I know people, when we first started, they're like, well, who am I going to watch on NPFL? I don't know any. They're getting on the keyboards, right? I don't know any of these people. Well, by God, you don't know the Bass Warrior. You're going to. The Bass Warrior is the man. Dude, tell us a little bit about, so I know your life, if you don't care to share, man, but your life's been, you are the Bass Warrior because you have fought, right? Like that you have fought trials and tribulations in your life. It's been a roller coaster, right? To this point, to be in fishing, then you were out of it for a little bit, and to be back and to be out east kicking ass, like hasn't been easy.
It hasn't been at all. Everything I got, you know, hard work. I'm not the smartest tool. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Like my vocabulary, I think Troy has a bigger vocabulary than I do.
So do my hard work. It happens.
Yeah, but hard work is definitely what I got. And I kicked myself in the butt because I should have made the jump back east in my 20s a while ago, you know, but fishing out in California, fishing the U.S. Opens, fishing the National Guards, the FLWs, the BFLs, all that, I think has primed me for fishing back east. But, and then having the family, of course, you know, having the family and stuff. But it hasn't been easy. Working construction for, you know, since I've been 18 years old, 20 odd plus years, you know, working, just saving money, saving this, saving that. And then to go back east, you know, sponsors. I mean, you know, if anybody sponsors, it's hard. And that's my only fault is the social media thing, you know, that side of it. Because I think up to 3 years ago, I didn't have Facebook or Insta. Yeah. I had a couple sponsors hit me up and say, Bass Warrior, we love you. We love the heck out of you. But you have to have Facebook. You have to have Instagram. I mean,
share who you are with the people, right?
Yeah. So that side of it, I'm still learning. You know, it's getting a little easier, but just the tech side of it's a little difficult for me. And then, but other than that, you know, it's getting easier now. And I'm at the point where, you know, a couple more years of construction, building out that Texas property. So I have some income coming in where I could just fish full time. I could fish, you know, NPFL, you know, tour. I could fish, you know, cherry pick Toyota series. I could do all that stuff here in a couple more years after I build that, you know, Texas property out. You know, my plan on there is, you know, building it out to an RV park type deal. So I have the income coming in.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I want it's, you know, Bass Warrior Lodge and RV.
I love that little plug. I like it. Get it in there, buddy.
Yeah. So after that's all done, you're going to see a lot more of me. You're going to see a lot more videos coming from, you know, me. And, you know, I know you guys know Johnny Z, Chris Aldane's filmer. Yeah. He's one of my best friends, and he can't wait. He's counting down the days where we could just film all day, do sponsor stuff all day, you know. But I'm not jumping. No, I'm not, you know, jumping ahead of myself. I'm doing it right, step by step. You know, finishing out my construction career. You know, finishing out Troy's high school. You know, family. You know, my family comes first, taking care of them, and then, you know, in a couple of years we'll be doing this full time. And I can't wait to start doing the filming, the videos, you know, I know nothing about it, but that's why I got Johnny Z. I mean,
he's the man.
He's the man with the lens, and that's what I can't wait for. So,
yeah, man, I think that that's such an investment in your future. What you're talking about with Rayburn, and I think that just speaks to how this is. And I always say you got to be obsessed with bass fish. You got to be obsessed with whatever it is you want to accomplish in life, but to be a professional angler, you got to be obsessed with it. If you're not, you are going to get rolled by the wave of professional fishermen that are obsessed with it. If you go in half-assed at all, you're going to get rolled, and you're definitely one of those guys that it's all you think about. But I do find it interesting. There's so many NPFL anglers that are like this. You win the event, and our buddy Dustin Wilkie was like, he's got an 8:30 flight back out west, you know, tomorrow morning. And I think so many people don't realize that about NPFL pros or even Elite Series pros or BPT pros. A lot of them, even though they say they fish full time, they've got other crap going on in life.
Oh, 100%.
When the NPFL, you know, circus closes up the trailer and rolls on, you guys are like, you're going to work construction, man. You're flying back out west so you can work to make money to come back east for a chance to win money. That is chasing a dream. That's paying your dues, if I've ever heard it, man. And now, have you been with kind of the same construction crew for a long time out west, or have you bounced around? Do you have folks that I mean, obviously you've got some support out there from people that are like, hey, yeah, it's cool to stop what you're doing, or do you do your own thing? Do you run your own construction crew?
So to make the jump back east, I got a contractor's license, and I've had my own company. So with me, I just cherry pick my jobs for myself, but then I also run projects for another company, cherry pick those, and then also another company, I cherry pick those. So I'm not just a normal worker, right? You know, I run projects and stuff, but now making the jump back east, it's on my time. It's because that's the only way you're going to make it work. You can't be work for a company, a 9 to 5 and expect to leave, every 6 weeks you're gone 2 to 3 weeks. It just won't happen. So I cherry pick my own personal jobs, and then I also help out 2 other companies run their projects. So it works out. I mean, it works out. And if you don't have that, you'll never make the jump back easy. You have to have your finances, like I said, but at the beginning of this deal, your support is number one, down to your family, down to your your work, your job. If you don't have your support lined up, I mean, you might as well hang it up, because when you get to that tournament, that's all you're going to be thinking about back home is, this. Your mind's not going to be on that tournament. And I'm lucky enough to have good family support. My kids are taken care of when I'm gone. My family's taken care of. The bills are paid. The jobs are all lined up. And just everything's good. And I think that's helped me out in season 3, where I got it so good right now. Knock on wood, I got it so good. I think the wheels just in line. Going straight. That I'm able to free up that mind. I'm able to pre-practice those 5 days and worry about nothing at home, worry about nothing in the bank account, just think about fishing. And I think that helped me this year is just a big player of just when I get to these tournaments, it's like sometimes even this last tournament, after the tournament, I'm like, what day is it? I don't even know what day is it, because I'm so in tune with the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know what day it is. And that's where you have to be, though, to win. You have to just put everything behind you and just focus on the task at hand.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. And I love that, because I'm sure you've seen this on social media, but people are always like, I don't understand how these guys do it. How do they pay entry fees? And how do they, and then there's this misconception that all sponsor money, when you decide to fish big tournaments, it just falls from the heavens and everybody's bass boat. So I love that, because that's something I always try to do on the show, is pull the curtain back and show people what it takes to chase a dream. And you just won your first title, but it's just the beginning, though. Like, this is just, in my opinion, the first step towards a fantastic career, man, because the last 2 years have been a roller coaster for you. I know you and I have talked about it. It's not always been easy. The years leading up to that weren't easy, right? And you are a survivor, dude. Like, you got to want it. I mean, you have, like you said, you have to be obsessed with it. You have to just want it. If you want it, there's no stopping you. Yeah. You'll make it work with the sponsors. You'll make it work. It's just, how bad do you want it? And I want it. You want it, man. There's no doubt about it. You want it. So let's talk moving forward, though. So NPFL again in 2024, I'm assuming.
100%.
I mean, you are, talk about why. So, because I find this interesting too, and I've never asked you this. So, of all the trails out east, because there are a lot. And I did a whole podcast last week about NPFL, so people are going to be like, oh, great. Again, the company man's here, company man Luke. But why Pro Circuit, Toyotas, Bassmaster Opens, what was it in year one for you that made the NPFL attractive in 2021? And here, 3 seasons later, through the roller coaster that the NPFL has been at times, what makes it the trail for you?
So when I first got introduced to the NPFL, I had my seat for the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit.
Okay.
I had it. It was either the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, or the NPFL. And I prayed on it for, a few weeks. I'm like, I'm going to go to the NPFL. It's a new organization. No one knows nothing about it, but a new organization. You start out on the right foot. You become one of the stars. You build relationship with it. And if this thing takes off, you're one of the first guys. You're one of their stars. You're one of you're part family with them. And don't get me wrong, MLF, cool MLF, but a lot of different stuff over on that side that and me, if anybody knows me, I'm a no BS kind of guy. I'm a no, black is black, white is white. I don't like riding on the fence. I don't like, I say what's on my mind, and that, so NPFL made sense to come down to it. It just made sense. I told myself I'll give it a year. Let's try it. If not, there's other paths I could take. But after that first year, Luke, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is probably the best circuit The only thing that ever came close to the NPFL was the National Guards out west, way back in the day.
It's a great trail. Yeah.
It was a good trail. 100 grand for first, 10 grand for 50th. It was a good trail. But the NPFL, after that first season, I said, this is it. This is the cat's meow. I want to be here every year. And it's just going to get better. And it has. Look at season 3. Flawless. This trail has ran flawless. I'm not going to drop no names, but there's a couple big names that fish our league that are like, that fish other leagues that are like, this is the best circuit, hands down, in the country right now. And we just wish other people could experience this. And I was talking to Mike Como. I said, dude, after all the little hiccups we had in NPFL and this and that, I said, dude, if we get by season 3, there will be a waiting list out that door for season 4 and on. We'll have the best circuit. And look what's happening. There's a waiting list. Season 3, we blew the doors off this place. It's ran flawless. I mean,
and you talk about battling, man. You're a warrior. Hard times are nothing for a hustler, right? Like, they're just not. No step for a stepper, as they say. And they could have just folded the doors up this year. They had 70-something boats. They could have said, the hell with it. And I had the exact same conversation with Brad and Mike Como that you said you did. I'm like, look, man, if you guys can get through year 3 with all the crazy folks going to the Bass Opens and folks jumping to the pro circuit and all that, you can get through that. I think the dust will settle and people are going to see what you guys have to offer, and year 4 will be our best year yet. That's just my opinion. And they put their money where their mouth was, and they're like, okay, with 70 guys, we're going to pay, 76 guys, we're going to pay, and gals. Shout out SHP. Shout out Stephanie.
Yeah.
But we're going to play 100 grand first place, and we're going to rock and roll. We're going to continue live coverage. And, man, they've done it like you said. It's been a crazy year. Amazing events. I mean, the last 2 alone have been, in my opinion, 2 of the greatest pro fishing events from a storyline perspective ever, man. You got number 1 and 2 riding in the same boat at Saginaw. They're rooming as 1 ounce after Trent gets beat there by an ounce last year. Then you got you and Will tying up. You got the rookie 20-year-old tying the veteran Bass Warrior for his first win, with looking like Trent Palmer's going to go back to back. I mean, bro, like, these storylines are crazy.
It's so sick.
And for fishing fans, and this is what I said last week was kind of the subject of the podcast, was like, dude, if you're not watching NPFL and keeping up with it, like, shame on you, because the drama is there. The storylines are there. The great fishermen are there. And, dude, it's only going to get better. Like you said, I believe there's a little bit of a waiting list for next year. And you talked about a couple big names we've got fishing. And I hate to say the word big names because I won't take away from anybody that's with us all 3 years. But I'm talking about these guys that are, quote, household names in the sport. There are several more of them peeking through the blinds and dipping their toe in the water for next year that I think, if everything comes together, the roster for next year might blow fishing fans away from what Now, I don't know. There's a lot to be decided. I think we're getting really close to the schedule announcement. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be very different, and I think it's going to be a really cool 2024. But, man, Bass Warrior, dude, you got a chance. There's still 1 left this year to win another 100K. And let's talk about that championship, which is Lake Amistad in 2024. That's a very, in my opinion, Bass Warrior kind of lake, right?
Bro.
Like Western-ish. Have you ever fished it before?
I've never fished Amistad, but if you look at all my career earnings out here in Cali, it's all pre-spawn, my big ones, all pre-spawn, all February, March. I mean, that's my forte. When they told me Amistad, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then a month later, someone's like, dude, that's your type of bite. That's springtime. I'm like, what do you mean springtime? Because I thought it was like in November.
Well, that's what we originally. Yeah, me too. But now they're like sending it full send.
And I'm like, what? I'm just chomping at the bit. I'm like, dude, put me anywhere in this country in February, and my juices are just like, oh, dude, I'm ready. It sets up. I mean, all the YouTubes I've watched, all the past tournaments I've watched, it sets up for a California angler. It just does. I mean, look at Ish, the first elite ever.
Yeah, that's right.
First elite ever. A Western boy took that down on Amistad.
Right. That's right, dude. It's a very I've never been on it. Like you said, I've watched a lot on it. I've got several friends that have been, and it's not a Texas fishery in the way it looks and feels, and it very much looks like it could be in Arizona, right? Or somewhere out there. But
I mean, swim bait. I mean, come on, it's a swim bait lake. I mean, it's a true swim bait lake.
It is.
Like a lot of people think, oh, swim bait's oh, a little ball head, 2-inch, 3-inch swim bait. No, we're talking it's a swim bait lake. Your 6, 7, 8, 9-inch, 10-inch swim baits, you know, your gliders, you know, your Ospreys, Huddies, you know, it's a true swim bait lake, you know, so that's, I get goosebumps for that. I mean, it's a shallow deal. It's a shallow deal. It's got biggins, you know, it's a Clear Lake vibe type deal, little Havasu vibe type deal.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I can't wait for it, dude. I really can't.
Did you low lifers at home feel the energy right there when Lewis got to talk about swim baits and all that? See, that's why I said I can't believe you won with a drop shot. Did you see how excited my man got?
We love those swimmies.
That's that West Coast just coming out right there.
Oh, dude.
I think that's going to be a really neat event for us. 25 anglers fishing for 100K. Everybody gets a check for showing up, but you got to beat 24 other dudes to win another 100K. Like you said, you got the confidence rolling now. Looking forward to the spring. I'm sure you're like, bring it.
Oh, bring it! I can't wait for that one. That one really got my attention. You know, I really wanted to make the championship just for this one. I think it's the closest we'll get to California. I mean, did you see that? Did you see my story though yesterday?
No.
The Clear Lake story. 37th place right now at the championship at Clear Lake. 37th place, 20 pounds.
No way. Welcome back, Clear Lake, right? I mean,
I tagged the NPFL. I'm like, hashtag Western Swing.
Well, you remember when they first started, they had their grand plan and they were like, all right, well, you know, year one, we're going to go to these lakes in these regions. And then year two, we're going to go to these. And the West Coast was definitely involved in their plans. Now, that being said, plans change and scheduling, and you know this from talking to those guys, but it's the hardest thing we do, trying to get a good schedule.
Absolutely.
But I would dare say you will see, not next year, you won't see it next year, but you will see NPFL go west. There's no way they won't. I believe they will. They want to do it. And, you know, we would have to go, I feel like, for 2 events, right? Like you'd almost have to go for back-to-back events.
Like a Delta Clear Lake.
Yeah.
Like Delta 1 week, Clear Lake later. And I'll tell you this, though. When the anglers get out there, I guarantee 100% most of them will say this is the best fishing I've ever done in my entire life. 100%, hands down. I mean, look at the weights now. 37th place, 20.20 pounds.
What's leading that deal?
Huh?
What's leading that deal?
I think 29, 28 is leading it. But look at Luke. It's still, if the championship would have been like 3 weeks later over there, the weights would have been even better. It's still hot up there. It's still, the water temp's still hot. That's like a summer deal. And the weights are like that.
Unbelievable.
When that water starts to cool, like late October, early November, that's when you get the 36-pound bags, the 37-pound bags. You know, you're in the top 10, you'll need over 30. 100%.
I hope you're watching Brad Fuller.
Yeah. Hashtag Western Swing.
Yeah, hashtag Bass Warrior wants us to go out west. And look, I think, you know, the only challenge for them is, like we mentioned, so many of our anglers have to, like you, they have to turn around and go back to whatever reality is, right? Whatever the 9 to 5 is once the NPFL event ends. So it would be hard potentially to do back-to-back West Coast turns. But I know they want to get out there at some point. But, you know, you're talking Cali Lakes, dude. but you also mentioned a lake like Havasu's a freaking great time. It looks like I've never
Dude,
been out there. You've got so many lakes
Havasu.
like Idaho now that are popping off. You've got Mojave where the U.S. Open's coming up. Last year was freaking insane. Like there are so many lakes out there that are just amazing bodies of water that we need to go check out.
And look at you mentioned the U.S. Open Mojave. Look at last year, Spencer Sheffield almost won the thing. Never been on Mojave.
Yeah,
Never been on it, and almost took down the U.S. Open title.
Yep.
I think he lost by ounces to Josh Bertrand.
Yep. Josh Bertrand is he's a tough one to deal with on some of those Arizona lakes out here.
Oh yeah, he definitely cut his teeth on Mojave, Havasu, all the Arizona lakes, But even if the NPFL said, we understand the travels, this and that, let's have the championship at Clear Lake or something like that.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool too.
That would be a championship that no one would ever forget. I mean, it would be record-breaking weights. It would be a lot of drama, a lot of big fish catches. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the videos of Steve Kennedy when he was throwing the hoodie on. He was throwing the hoodie on a flipping stick. It wasn't even a swimbait rod. He was throwing it on a flipping stick. I mean, 120 some pounds. I mean, it's crazy.
That's the one where Gerald caught the one that had one eye, big 10-pounder over there. The famous clip of G-Man. That's when all the rednecks from Alabama figured out how to throw swim baits.
Right. Throwing them on flipping sticks.
Yeah, man. It was that week, man. It's a spectacular fishery. And I do miss, I've talked about it on here a lot. I do miss those Western swing tournaments for bass and for all the leagues. And I know there's a fan base out there, and then there's a lot of tournament fishermen out there that want to see that. And I see it every time a schedule gets posted. Hey, it's another East Coast year. I get it. But financially, though, just like for you coming this way to take the majority of the field out there, it's a lot of money, right? I mean, it just is. And it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of time away. And I know talking to a guy like you're like, cry me a freaking river, man. Yeah, but like I said, when 90% of your customer base lives out east, it makes it a lot harder to do that and to get your crew out there and everything. But I think we'll pull it off one of these days with NPFL. I think you'll see that, man. I hope.
Just for the anglers too, just to give them that experience of, calling 5-pounders, just to give them that experience. And like I said, it's not a lake where you're going to have, 5 of your top guys catching them. I mean, the whole turn, every angler is going to catch them.
Yeah,
it's not everybody will be on them. So I just want to give them that experience, and I know it'll come. I know, and I know the NPFL is going to take. I mean, it's growing. It's becoming bigger than we thought. I mean, so I know it'll come.
Yeah, man. Well, it's growing thanks to guys like you. Thanks for all the anglers that have supported us for 3 years and have shared your life with us, have shared your passion, have given us. I mean, dude, on camera, it's Fat Cat and I are always fist bumping. We're like, hey, dude, we got Bass Warrior on camera today because we know what we're going to get, man. Like we're not worried about, oh, this guy's not going to talk. He's not going to break down what he's doing. It's what live fishing is all about when we get you on camera, man. So, I can't thank you enough for being a part of the league. Because look, dude, it's giving a guy like me a chance to work in an industry I've always loved and to find my place, right? Like in this world, and running my mouth just happens to be where it's at. And I love it, man.
But you do it so good, bro. You do it so good.
I appreciate that, man. I enjoy it so much, and I've enjoyed getting to know all the NPFL pros over the last 3 years, and next year is going to be something to say the least.
Oh, fireworks!
Oh, dude, that's right. Yeah, with gasoline real close by, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. All right, give me some final thoughts here as we wrap it up for the low lifers. You got one left, Lake Lanier. You fish Shasta a lot. You fish some. Should we be worried about the Bass Warrior going back to back? Should the anglers of the league be worried that the Bass Warrior got his first win and he's wanting a second one? Should we be worried about that?
I'm going to fish it. First of all, everybody knows me. I don't fish chicken.
Yeah, that's right.
I do not fish chicken. I don't care if I'm second in points, only a point behind. I never fish chicken. I fish to win every dang tournament. But Lanier I'm going there with, with my swim baits, with my, with all the information I got off YouTube, this and that. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to fish to win for sure. I'm going for 5 big ones. I'm not, you won't see me on the bank, I'll be out there live scoping for those big ones in 20 to 50 foot of water, swim baiting, doing all that. So, I mean, I hope it sets up. I mean, I've never been there. I hope it sets up like Shasta. I heard it really doesn't in a way, because our Shasta spots are trout eaters. They set up different. These spots are herring chasers. But I am going for first. I'll tell you that. I'm fishing to win. I'm not. You won't see me on the bank with a spinning rod in my hand. Not that time of the year.
No Ned rig for the Bass Warriors.
No Ned rigs. You'll see all swim bait rods, big top water rods. And I'll go fish for first. But and another thing, I can afford to do that right now. Like, I'm in the championship,
playing with house money right now, points wise, and you got the win.
Yep. So I think I'm a little bit more dangerous when you think of that. And then I just can't I can't wait for Amistad. That's the one. That's the one. Lanier, I'm going there with a good mindset, swim bait rods and all that. But get me through and let's get to Amistad.
I love it, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, low lifers, one and all, you have been introduced officially to the damn Bass Warrior. Make sure you're following him on all social media. This guy's the man, and he's going to be around this sport for a very, very long time. Luis Fernandez, you're the man. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Love you, bro.
Love you, dude. All right, that's all she wrote with the Bass Warrior. I hope you all enjoyed that. He is a true joy. He is an amazing angler with a fantastic story, and I appreciate him taking time out to join us here on Low Budget Live, the not so live variety. Been wanting to do one with him for a long time, and it just worked out because he is the champ, Luis Fernandez. Make sure you're following him on all social media. And thanks to you, low lifers, for tuning in each and every week, no matter the guest, no matter the subject line, whether there is a guest, whether there's not. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate the feedback. It's overwhelming that this many folks enjoy this craziness here in the bar and grill. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to take y'all out with some Biloxi Blues as always. And I'm going to see y'all next week. See ya.
Jackson Town to Tupelo, I never could make it last. Spanish moss and Civil War ghosts, well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.